Hello YouTube, Jacob Hugo the Striker Sheet here. I'm coming at you today with a video on Naruto Ninja Storm Revolution. I've only uploaded one video on my channel of this game, but that was just a gameplay video. This is going to be a video where I talk about the types and the types of characters you can use. The types I'm going to be covering today are strikers, spammers, powerhouses, and some subclasses like ninjutsu spammers and ultimate jutsu spammers, along with special combinations of ultimate jutsu and how they can help you in the game in general. Okay, to start, today we'll be talking about the advantages with teammates. So if you want a single match tip video, then I could do one if it's requested or whatever, but today we'll just be looking at some examples of types of strikers, powerhouses, and spammers. First off, we'll be talking about strikers. A good example of a striker is Sasuke Uchiha. Now, he's a pure striker. I wouldn't say he has any subclasses. He could be a ninjutsu spammer, but his latest one, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan one, he is not really a ninjutsu spammer. It can be used quite often and it's very useful, but I wouldn't put him under that category. And he's way too powerful to be spamming ninjutsu anyway, because you're not going to generally be using that, because you're going to use all your chakra to dash in. Strikers mainly require ultimate jutsu type, as they like to go in, do as much damage as possible, and if they waste all your subs, then they really want to get that ultimate jutsu off, and that's very easy since they can start hitting you, and then when they have a break in their combo, they can quickly use their ultimate jutsu and destroy you. Now, the teammates I suggest with Sasuke are people like Kimimaro or someone else who can do a very nice job at wasting subs, or just the special teammates that you can have, such as Naruto and Sakura, or just Naruto, or even Itachi, as he's one of the main characters and they have quite a few. All these are very good. I enjoy using Naruto and Sakura when I choose myself, but it's entirely up to you what you would like to pick for this. Of course, there's a lot more strikers, and we'll be going into, and I'm going to show you a quick clip of a different striker at work, which is Yugito Ni, which is a Jinchuriki. She is very fast, very strong, and she can be quite a ninjutsu spammer, and you'll be able to see that in a couple of seconds. Next, we'll be talking about spammers. Spammers are people like the Mizukage, well, the second Mizukage, Deidara, Temari, Tenten. These are very infamous characters, as a lot of people can't really counter spammers, because they don't know the trick to it. I know the trick to it, and we'll be going over that later. For now, we'll just talk about the advantages and disadvantages of spammers. Okay, so the advantages of spammers, they can't really handle a dasher, like a striker, because they can just dash through their shurikens or shuriken or whatever they use to attack. Now, so a striker would be a good counter to a striker, a spammer. Spammers are mostly good with drive type, as they can get defended when they're spamming, and if they're forced into a situation which they have to attack head on, like with the circle or strike key as you just seen, you can switch to attack pose, and that will help you out a ton because it can knock them back. Your teammates kick them back to you, and you start spamming again. You go into defense as you're spamming, and then they're away from you again. So they're gonna have to come in all over again and start getting hurt. Now, the way to counter spammers is to keep guarding when they're spamming, because there will be a break in their spamming combo which you can block, and when they're spamming again, you chuck or dash in, and that's when you start striking them, and they're going to want to sub straight away, so you need to go for this and keep chakra dashing as much as possible. Try to predict when they're going to substitute, and you'll be able to counter them. Now, spammers used to be a lot more powerful than they are now, but mostly now, most people know how to counter them. For example, the Mizukage, the second Mizukage is also a ninjutsu spammer, as his ninjutsu is pretty powerful. And as you see there, his flick down strike move is something that can protect him against a chakra dasher. So that's very good for spammers. I believe in Naruto Storm Revolution, only one spammer was added, which is the second Mizukage. While another one was added, which is part 1 1010, which I don't believe was in Storm 3, but I could be mistaken. I will now show you a clip of Deidara and his spamming techniques. The next type we're going to discuss are powerhouses. Good examples of these are Sakura, Hashirama, also known as the first Hokage, and Tsunade. Powerhouses are slower than strikers, but have more powerful combos. as you can see, Sakura's punching pretty slowly, but she's also dishing out a lot of damage. The best type to use with powerhouses, I would say, is Awakening type, as the Awakening type gives a significant power boost and allows you to hit first more times. The true awakening of powerhouses can be very devastating. The type of teammates that I would suggest for powerhouses are the same that I would suggest for the spammers. You want to give the powerhouses someone who can defend them while they're going into a true awakening. Something like someone who can use Fireball Jutsu, or someone like a Hyuga who can do an AoE type of defense. I will now show you a clip of Tsunade fighting Obito and Madara. Last but not least, we have the well-balanced characters. Now, what I mean by this is they have a lot of everything in them. And a good example of this is Naruto and Minato with their Rasengan. They can spam their Rasengan pretty well, and it's very hard to dodge. Yet they also have a lot of striker in them and are very fast. Another person who I think would fit into the well-balanced category is Itachi. See, he is quite fast with a striker status, but he's not quite as fast as some other strikers. So that, and his jutsus are very good also, because he has the Amaterasu Fireball Jutsu, and he also has Super Explosion Clone Jutsu, I think it's called. All of these, there's one for defense, there's one for just defense and offense, and there's one that is mostly offensive. So the all in all, the well balanced are the ones that you generally think are the best, because they have a bit of everything and it's very useful. They most likely don't have spamming, as in shuriken spamming in them, so that's the only thing that they'll be missing, because they can be quite powerhouses too. Lastly, I want to talk about special jutsu combinations. What I mean by this, I also talked about this a bit earlier, is like Ino Shikucho or Naruto and Sasuke using their Rasengan and Chidori together. Now, special combinations like this are very powerful, as they can waste more than one substitution, and they are much more useful to go for. If you only have to use one teammate due to this, then I'd say go ahead, because when you're using one teammate, it takes less time for them to be able to help you again, and it's very nice when you go for the ultimate jutsu to waste more than one substitution if they are unable to guard. This is the last tip I'm going to give for this video, and it's to use whichever character you feel safe with. If they're your favorite character, and if they're a spammer you don't like spammers, then train with spammers. If you can't get good with spammers, then maybe your second favorite character. Just try anyone who you like, and don't go by other people's standards. For example, loads of people use Sasuke because he's quote unquote overpowered, but you don't have to if you don't like him. You don't have to use him to be good. You just need to train a lot and use counters and all the basics, and you'll finally get there to where you're a very good player. I will make more videos in the future about good combinations, what to do against people who counter a lot, how to avoid getting countered, and that sums it up for this video. Like, sub, and favorite, whatever you want, I don't mind, and I'll see you guys next time.